this weekend we came and explored Lake Hartwell and visited and stayed at Lake Hartwell State Park, officially in Fairplay, right on the South Carolina-Georgia border. You probably can't see it through the trees, but the lake is right behind us. On the other side of the lake is the state of Georgia.
It was a beautiful weekend. We couldn't have asked for better weather. It's a little chilly this morning to me.
When we arrived, we unhooked the rig. It was 81 degrees. Second weekend in March. This is a nice campground. One thing about this campground right now is the largest portion of it is closed.
Probably 2/3.
I would say 2/3. When you come in, the loop to the left is where we're staying. It's one large loop. There's, I don't know how many sites are in this park. There's 2 cabins, and they're presently building 6 more.
And they're super cute, and the view is amazing. They look very small.
They are very small. It looks like they took some of the smaller sites and converted them, or are converting them to the cabins. And because they're the smaller sites, there's some of the better views. So fantastic water views.
And the cabins are small, but they have like big decks.
And levels.
And lots of levels, like
built
deck,
down.
stairs, level stairs, down toward the water. So if you're a smaller family or a couple looking to get away, that would be an amazing opportunity.
The 6 new cabins are supposed to be built by April 15th. It looks like they're a little bit behind schedule. We've had a lot of rain this year, so a lot of construction is
And we don't know if they're
behind.
stick built or if they're going to be dropped in off a truck or what. So if they showed up with a pretty much prefab cabin,
They might have it done by April 15th. So check with the park. The other part of the campground that is closed right now, they said, is because they don't have heat in the bathhouses, so they had to drain all of the water out of them. And their plan is to open them on April 1st. We did take some time and go walk around and kind of sight out the good sites. It's almost like 2 separate parks in the way that it's laid out.
the first half is very much like the side we're in. Hilly terrain, kind of up
on a higher
on the ridge,
higher elevation. All the sites are fairly narrow, and they're all paved, but they're narrow. You back in, and then basically where the camper is, they spread out to a wider area. Some of them have some timbers to kind of keep from having a slope. It's just a straight drop off.
And they look like they've all there's been a lot of maintenance more on that side, right. I would say too.
Then you go back further
over
and down this hill to the end of the peninsula, and the sites, because it's lower, it's closer to the water. You're right there on the water.
They're gorgeous sites.
Very similar construction, narrow paved area that goes back to raised timber. I actually made notes of some of the sites that are kind of the premium and premier sites. I would say 36 to 48 on that one side. They're smaller, they're close, but they're right on the water.
And they're kind of staggered. They're close, but they're not like straight in a line. They're kind of staggered along the waterfront. So each one of them would have a view. It's not like if you got the end one, you wouldn't be able to see. They are kind of
they're turned
like
at an angle.
Turned parking space like. So you would have a view from like your picnic space. I took an amazing picture of my daughter at sunset, sitting at one of the picnic tables. 41, I think, was the one she was at. Was just really a beautiful sight.
The other side, 53 through 57, have pretty good views. 53, 54, and 56 are really small. So pay attention to your rig size. I don't know that we could fit into 56. 57 is a pull through that gets big and has a nice open.
But none of those
view.
are water access. They have the drop off, more like a lake access would be. The other side, the original in the 40s, it does actually have like a beach front, like you could walk straight down to water. So if you were kayaking or something like that, or you had kids that want to play in the water, that's a better side. Not that you couldn't access it, it's very open to be accessed wherever you were staying.
We'll do a quick video of our site. I think it's very typical of a lot of the sites. Like site 83 here at Lake Hartwell. It's a fully paved site, all of them in this loop are, but it's narrow. It's right at the width of the camper. If you come back, it's fairly level. I think we went up less than an inch on the Anderson levelers. It's 30 amp, not 50 amp. There is room for the slide outs without any problem. We are all the way on the driver's side of the site, because over here on this side, there's a bit of a drop off. We kind of took it as an additional step, but I needed that space to get the Blackstone set up and be able to stand there at the Blackstone, so we went as far to the driver's side as we could. There's a fairly level family area here by the fire pit. We come back, there's a drop off behind us. In the distance there is a path for a tent site that goes down this hill. Got to be careful not to slide down that hill. And down at the lake, there is a tent site. Unfortunately, it's right by the lake, so it's kind of weird for us to go down there and play the other night with somebody staying in the tent, but we'll go down there this afternoon. They've already checked out. The drawback to this site, probably for most, is the neighborhood is right there. It seems like a lot of these sites are almost buddy sites. They're in pairs. It turned out fine. These folks were really nice. They had a son, same age as one of my children, so they played together and had a good time. Oh no, it's nice.
And one thing we did seem to notice, it seems like, and you'll see it on the map, they're almost done in twos. Like our site and the site next to us are very close, and then there's a significant gap, and several of them are that way. Like there's two that are close, and then a gap, and two that are close. So if you're traveling, I think this would be a really good park if you were traveling with, if you're a ball team or family or friends. You could be pretty close together, but then also separated from other groups.
There was one group that was actually 3 sites together, 114, 115, and 116. Were 3 sites that were very
one
close.
Road, and then it kind of branched out.
So if you're looking for a threesome, 3 family spot, that would be.
And on the other side, there actually is one that's like 62 and 62A.
Right.
That is a very large site and then a very small site together. So if you had a large group, or maybe a big RV and a small RV, or an RV and a tent, that would be a fun. It's kind of up on the ridge line, not down by the water, but it would be fun to have your own little nook, little cranny sitting out there.
One other kind of odd site to pay attention to, especially if you're just coming through and not expecting it, site 24 actually looks like it's the road, but the road goes off this way, where you would expect, it almost looks like that would be the pull through.
Yes.
It's a little bizarre.
Yeah, the road, there's a sign that says keep left, and if you did not keep left, you would either be pulling through somebody's site, or you're pulling through a site, or there would be an RV there. Yeah. It was very awkward, and I felt like as somebody with small children, like your site ends in the road
both ways.
On both directions. Yeah. Like anywhere your kids are going to play behind or in front, you're kind of in traffic.
So just pay attention to site 24 as you come through. Some of the other things that are here at the park, this park is really good for fishermen.
There's a lot of fishermen.
There is a boat ramp on this side, on the camper side of the park, that is supposed to be just for people that are camping here, and there's, I think I counted 12 or 14, maybe 15 parking spots long for boat and trailer. So if you wanted to come here with a separate vehicle, you could put your boat in. Now, most of these you're not going to be able to boat right up to your site, but you could fish during the day and leave your vehicle down there. On the public day use side, there's some nice little picnic tables. There's a fishing pier. Of course, if you're staying at the campground, you can go to that fishing pier. It was really nice. There's also some beach area there where you can swim. Now, one word of caution when I say beach area, we're in the upstate of South Carolina. There's a clay mica type of a soil that's really slick and kind of red. It's not sand, so when I say it's beach, know that it's going to be kind of a slick mud, not. And
there's some places where they've imported some sand, but there's a lot of places you could get to the water where You wouldn't swim in your best bathing suit.
Yeah, and you're going to want to make sure you clean them really well when you get home.
It's one of those, if you have the camper with the spray hose in the back, you kind of maybe want to hose them off. There isn't, because while there is access to play in the water, there isn't like the way the beaches have the showers as you exit. There's no place to really clean up from some of that.
Yeah, so you just come prepared for that. Just know that this isn't going to be a sandy beach, that it's a more rocky or clay type of beach. So over there, there's another public fishing, boat ramp. We did some geocaching over there. There's also a trail between the two, kind of starts right near the ranger station. They said it's 0.7 miles. It's a really pretty trail.
It really is pretty. It's very well maintained.
There's a lot of up and down.
Yeah, it's very rocky.
You
and
cross over several dry creek beds and then some small creeks that lead to the lake. You come around to one point, kind of across from the campground, where you look over a pretty cove, and then you come back out to the main road. You can either go back or you can go back up the road.
And it was really pretty. Our kids were able to do it without any trouble. It wasn't,
We did it. We
really
found a geocache while on that trail. We had to go a couple hundred feet off of it.
And there's only a couple geocaches here. This isn't hugely geocached.
Yeah,
but I think this is a very largely fishing. We always say they kind of tend to show their identity while you're there.
Yeah.
And I think especially if you came in the summer.
Come here for fishing and to go swimming in the lake.
Yeah.
I think, or to go boating.
Yeah. Because there's the one trail. It's beautiful and is a great hike.
And I keep going back to fishing because we're here in the winter, and that's really the only reason a lot of people out on the lake. If you're a skier, wakeboarder, any kind of water sports, this is a great lake for it. Lake Hartwell is a beautiful lake. It's fed from Lake Kiowee, which is fed from Lake Hartwell, and then it feeds into the Savannah River system with a number of other parks down south of us. So it's part in that long line.
I would say too, there's a lot of nature. I mean, the kids have really enjoyed kind of exploring. We've seen a lot of chipmunks. Lots of those bigger squirrels, the
fox squirrels. Fox squirrel, yes,
and I would say try to catch the ranger station when it's open. They do have a really cool check-in process in case somebody's not there. So if you are coming at a weird time, they don't lock the gate and you can check in after hours. So that was super convenient. We didn't have to use it, but that would be super convenient to especially weekend travelers. But the ranger station,
they do have kind of odd hours right now. I think during the summer it's
maybe
better,
a little more
but during
extended.
the winter they're only open 11 to 12 and 4 to 5.
But it's a super cool. It's a smaller gift shop.
Nature display.
But there's a nature display and almost kind of a lodge feel. Like it's got this old kind of timey furniture with like animals on it and stuff. But there's a ton of taxidermy of local animals. There's Bob Whites, there was snakes, there's foxes, there's raccoons, and they're done really well. Squirrels,
birds, owls.
But like there was not an eagle, but a big hawk.
Osprey.
There was a big osprey, and then they have a tank with fish that are fished in the waters here. There was black crappie and bluegill, and the kids really enjoyed that piece. Like they kept calling it wanting to go back to the nature center. So not exactly a full nature center like you would see at a different state park, but it wasn't just the teeny tiny gift shop like you think. And the people were super nice, but the atmosphere was really neat. They do also, a little tidbit, have the Oconee Library has a little free lending library there that you can take a book, leave a book kind of thing. Very well stocked with a wide variety. So it was kind of fun. The kids got to access that. And Claire's already read her books. We need to take it back. But it's a good park.
It's a nice park if you want to get up and visit the lake. It probably isn't. When you go to like the bathhouses are showing their age. There's some maintenance things around here. You can tell it's not one of the higher priority parks in the state.
The other side is getting like all new picnic tables, and they had the better gravel. We have kind of the chunkier gravel on this side.
It's older
and they had the smaller gravel. So if you did have a tent going up, it would be a little more comfortable on that smaller pea gravel.
Speaking of tents, there are a number of tent sites here that are all hike-in. Most of them are a little closer to the water. but they're high up on the ridge. I haven't seen any except number 9 is right here next to us. It's down by the water. All the rest of them are kind of up. I have not seen any besides number 9 that's down right at the water.
And so, number 9 would be the one. If we were tent camping, I think I would absolutely choose number 9. It has its own trail, its own parking, its own trail, and it literally is right at the water. I'm sure we've got some pictures of that, and it was a primo spot. Once you're there,
most of them require a bit of a walk-in.
It was, like a lot of the walk-in tent sites, that you're gonna have to carry your stuff, and it's not gonna be super easy. But that site was gorgeous. Yeah.
While we were here, we rode down to Sadler's Creek. We're probably going to do that in a separate video. Sadler's Creek is also on Lake Hartwell. So check that video out, or check us back in a few weeks. And
it also does have camping. We didn't camp there, obviously, but look for Sadler's Creek to come.
Yes. One of the things we always like to try and cover is places to eat. We did not get a chance to go there, but I read a lot online about the Spotted Pig Barbecue. Spotted Pig Barbecue is just 3 miles north of here on Highway 11. If you're into barbecue,
it looked cool.
Like a really neat place. A little patio in the back. I kind of wish we would have tried to figure out how to fit that into our schedule. If you need a store, there's also a Dollar General right there, and Exxon is across the street, so a place to gas up before you leave. This is just 3 miles north of the park. When I went to Clemson, we spent a lot of time on Lake Hartwell. During the summer, this is a busy lake. There are a lot of boats, so be careful if you're here during the summer. I don't know that I'd do a lot of kayaking out in the bigger water. You'd kind of stay back in the bays and in the coves.